I think I'm a bad person. Okay, so I've mentioned this before. I'm a barista. And you know, I'm just like at the coffee shop doing my barista thing. And also, I'm like the only barista. So I'm doing cashier, coffee, all like the in front of house housekeeping, cleaning. So, you know, it gets kind of hectic sometimes. I only got 2 arms. So I get this phone call, and I hate talking on the phones. I'm awkward, and it's so hard taking a food order on the phone because you got people talking over here. The phones are like staticky. So I like plug my ear and I'm like, hi, welcome to my coffee shop. How may I help you? And this lady, she's like, what kind of soup y'all got today? Because we have a daily soup. And I'm like, oh, hello, ma'am. Today we have broccoli cheddar. And she's like, well, what about a BLT? We don't have BLTs. So I'm sorry, ma'am, we don't have BLTs. You got bacon? I know where this is going. And I'm like, yes, ma'am, we have bacon. Well, you got lettuce? Yes, we have lettuce. We also have tomatoes, but I cannot make a custom sandwich because, like, I'm the cash register lady. What button am I going to press? How much will I charge her for it? And the cooks, what are they going to do with the bacon, lettuce, tomato? What kind of sauce are they going to put on it? Mustard? Mayonnaise? You can't just throw a whole new sandwich at me in the middle of a lunch rush. So I tell her, sorry, no can do, no BLTs. She's like, well, I'll come anyways for my soup. And so I hang up, breathe a sigh of relief, and I'm like, oh no, she's coming. She's gonna recognize my voice, and she's going to yell at me for not making her a BLT. So every time an old lady walked into the cafe, I put on my Australian accent, mate, and I went full ham with it. When I was mopping, I was practicing under my breath, like, good day, mate, want another shrimp on the barbie? And when she finally did arrive, I'm like, oh, hello there, what may I get for you today? Is that Australian, but Cockney, but British? You know what, I was like, let's just go for ambiguousness. And I'll just throw her off my track so much she won't be able to tell that I'm the same lady on the phone. So yeah, if you want like a little like, you want to like jazz up your cafe experience working at the cash register, put on a new accent. I might actually keep an Australian accent. Do you think we could do a whole video like this today? Also, you guys like the curls? Yeah, I do, but it takes like an hour. But guys, I also got flashed in the parking lot on the same way to my work. I could do a bunch of stories about my work. Where's my paper filled with video ideas? Because I got nanny stories I can tell, barista stories, to be done another time. But this is my February wrap-up. How are you guys doing today? I am Casey from Lost in a Bookcase. This month wasn't good, which is sad, because it was my birthday month and my anniversary month. So, usually I do like the worst and work my way up to the best, but because it's primarily the worst, we're going to start with the best first, so one sec. Okay, this month I really want to do mostly contemporary, so I have 4 John Green books, 2 thrillers, and 1 book series that will be talked about last. I fell in love with John Green's writing style in The Fault in Our Stars. That was the first book I ever read that was his. It was, my dad had cancer, so like I was like reliving the whole like, oh, my loved one, oh no, oh, cancer. And like their romance, Augustus and Hazel, I just really liked it. I liked that Augustus was so funny. I love that Hazel was like witty. And my favorite thing about John Green, his side characters are always like awesome. I loved Isaac, the one with the sick eyes. Isaac. Too soon. And so when I saw like the whole box set with like most of his works at Books A Million, I was like, I loved Fault in Our Stars. I'm just gonna like buy all of them, and he's gonna be like my new favorite author, and we're just gonna be best friends, and I'm just gonna like swoon over all these characters. My mistake was, in falling in love with The Fault in Our Stars, was that I read that one first. And it's like his middle book, I guess. Short summary, as short as I can make it. I DNF'd Paper Towns and Turtles All the Way Down. Pretty much loved An Abundance of Katherines. Could not stand Alaska and Looking for Alaska. This is when I realized that almost everybody else knew, but I didn't, that John Green's characters are exactly the same people. They're Augustus and Hazel just reused over and over and over again. But because Looking for Alaska was his first book, it's more like it was Alaska and Pudge used over and over and over again. Looking for Alaska is this book about a young man. He is obsessed with last words, which is like a pretty cool quirk, and he's just like fed up with like how his life has been so far. It's kind of boring, just like passing by, no friends. So he's getting sent off to this a boring school. They're all boring. No, a boarding school. And this is where he seeks his great perhaps. Like, perhaps this is my new journey, a new adventure. He does make some fun friends, like the colonel, how do you pronounce that word? Colonel. And it is literally about this young man just reaching out more, broadening himself, learning more stuff, learning how to make friends at this boarding school. But things get turned topsy-turvy when he meets the vivacious Alaska Young, who I despised. I'm over here like, she's teaching all these kids how to smoke. I don't like her. She is that loud, I'm not like other girls, please shut up person. And so was Margot from Paper Towns, which is why I DNF'd it. Because I'm like, I suffered enough with Alaska Young. I am not doing it again with Paper Towns. I have 2 paper marks right here. I know why I did this one, but why did I do this one? Hold on, I'm rereading. I don't know why I paper marked that, so that's gone. What I do like about John Green books is that they're very realistic. Like, most of the time there is not an epic climax. It's literally just life, and I actually like that. One of my favorite chapters in The Fault in Our Stars was just Hazel. Spoiler. Hazel was just going over to Gus's house when, like, you know, during his cancer, and she was just taking care of him. Then she walked home, and at the end of the chapter she said, and I did the same thing the next day, and the next day, and I'm like, aw, that's sweet, girl, yeah. So a lot of complaints towards John Green is that there's not really an ending, and as you guys remember from, like, Leonard Peacock, that didn't have an ending either, but I didn't like Leonard Peacock at all, so, like, it should have had, like, a gigantic flourish to, like, redeem itself. But I liked them. I liked Hazel and Augustus, and they were so sweet, and I just wanted to live life with them. I did not want to do it with Alaska, because she was just so annoying. Margot was, like, the same thing. Oh, the super quirky girl, and the, like, smarter than average guy, you know, he likes her, she doesn't really like him, but he's gonna, like, try his best to win her. Most likely she will either die or disappear. So I got rid of that. And Turtles All the Way Down. Like, the girl, I was excited to read this one. The main character, Asa, has, like, severe anxiety and, was it OCD? Like, she was always constantly obsessed with the human, like, the microbes in the human body, like, all the germs you could have, and she would, like, have this constant cut on her finger, that she would just keep reopening it, so, because she thought that if she kept letting it bleed, then all the bad stuff in her would be able to, like, seep out. But because she had an open sore, she was always thinking that stuff would get in too, and she'd get infected. So yeah, lots of stress there if that's all you're thinking about. But again, favorite thing besides him just writing about life, John Green, his writing style is just so funny. He's a really funny writer, and I love that. He has lots of jokes, inside jokes. He makes up his own words sometimes, which I always appreciate. And, like, you get a sense of a character voice, and I love that. Just not in this one. This one's just so severely lacking. The girl, Asa, I kept forgetting she was a girl. Like, that's how bad it was. So what did I talk about? Reusing character tropes. Yeah, the guy and the girl basically always the same. But the one I actually really did like, even though it's literally, oh, slightly smarter than normal guy, feels insecure, goes out on a big journey, I really liked an Abundance of Katherines. I loved, what's his name, Hassan. Hassan is hilarious. I want, like, a Hassan in my life because I need a fun friend like that. John Green, like, he has a lot of random LOL humor, and I like it sometimes when it makes sense. Not like Again But Better. In An Abundance of Katherines, we have a prodigy child named Colin. He hasn't really done anything that important with his life, even though he's, like, slightly smarter than average. So he's having, like, an existential crisis, and he only dates girls called Katherines. And I think his 19th Katherine just dumped him, and we're literally introduced with him, like, crying on the floor. It's like, why do girls hate me? And I'm like, I've done that sometimes, but, you know, with boys. And his friend Hassan is like, boy, I got you. We're gonna go on an amazing road trip, and we're just gonna, like, make money and meet babes. And they do. And it was a fun ride. I was kind of hoping it would be, like, a constant road trip, not like them coming and just stopping for the rest of the book at this one town, which they do. Ha! You said do. But it was fun enough. Hassan and Colin, like, work really well together. Just like Pudge and the Colonel. Again, reusing it. I get you, John Green. I know what you're doing. You can't trick me. I wasn't a fan on how it ended, so I gave it, like, 4. It's literally like a drive into the sunset type of ending. Right off into the sunset. Hate that. I mean, come on. It's overused. No one's that happy. So this one and The Fault in the Stars are the only ones I'm going to keep because they were fun. This was the best of 3 because the female protagonist was driving me crazy. Like, oh my gosh, Alaska Young, we can't get over her, she's so amazing. It's kind of like how everybody in Daisy Jones in the 6 was like, oh, Daisy Jones, she's like this goddess walking among us mortals. It's literally the same thing. And spoiler, big spoiler, Alaska Young dies. And I was like, how could she die? She was so full of life. And you got me here, it's because she was smoking the herb. Like, she's crazy. Of course she was gonna die. What did you think was gonna happen? And 2 DNFs. Just because I couldn't connect with the characters because they were reused or bland. But sadly, these weren't the only DNFs I had. Getting into my thriller reads of the month, I had a B.A. Paris binge with Bring Me Back and The Breakdown. Bad. Good. Very good, in fact. I enjoyed it. Bring Me Back is like the classic story, like, oh, this young man, he's doing so well in life, but he's having some romantical issues. His girlfriend disappeared a while back, and now he's found another one to fill the void. But will his past come back to haunt him? Yeah. She vanished. A decade ago, his girlfriend disappeared. He lied. He told the police the truth about that night, just not the whole truth. Their secrets won't stay buried. Now he's moved on, but the past isn't done with him yet. My favorite part about this book, everyone was messed up. Like, no one was squeaky clean. They all had their issues, and that just made them feel real. And I was like intensely into it. And I was like, the twist is here, and I'm like constantly following the twist, and I was like this close to guessing it. I was just like a percentage off of my estimate. And I don't know if this interests you guys or if this is a spoiler. It doesn't have a happy ending. If you're like tired of a happy ending, riding off into the sunset, here's a thriller for you. However, her other book, The Breakdown, I DNF'd because I correctly guessed what was happening. So, brief summary before I spoil it for anyone. This lady, she comes from a party at night, I guess. I can't really remember. Her husband's like, never take this road at night. It's dangerous. And she's like, well, I'm tired and it's a shortcut, so I'm gonna take it anyways. But she doesn't tell him that. So at night, she takes this windy road through the woods and rain's pelting her windshield. But she sees this car pulled over on the side of the road. She can see a woman sitting in it. She thinks, I should probably help her. But then she's like, oh no, it's raining, bye. And then the next morning, this woman is found dead. So of course she feels guilty, like, oh my gosh, I should have got out and helped her. And then, oh my gosh, the news reveals that she actually knew this woman. And as she's dealing with this guilt, this woman, she's starting to find out that she's starting to have some gaps in her memory, just like her mother before her who died of dementia. And it all started around the same age that she is right now. She's forgetting appointments, forgetting meetings she's had with friends. Her husband comforts her, but she just can't tell him what's really going on in her head. She doesn't know if the world is breaking down around her or if it's just her suffering from the breakdown. And that's not all. She's receiving silent calls at night. Maybe from the person who murdered her friend? Does it sound intriguing? I didn't actually think it was that intriguing, the summary, but I already had her book, Bring Me Back, and Behind Closed Doors. Why do all these start with B? Behind Closed Doors, Bring Me Back, The Breakdown, V doesn't count. Interesting. B.A. Paris, Illuminati. But because I already had the other 2 books, and this one was on sale for $4, I was like, I'll take it and just have a B.A. marathon. I like her writing style, I really do. With thrillers, I want it as simple as possible. I don't really care what the houses look like, what the people look like. I have the imagination. I can supply all that information for myself. However, cast of characters in this book is so small, you can't help but guess who's involved with the bad stuff that's going on. And I did. And I was like, I was definitely less than 80 pages. I'm like, I figured it out. Because she dropped such obvious clues, and I went on a spoilerly website, and I'm like, how does this end? And I'm like, I guessed it all the way. And so I was like, yeah, not gonna read it anymore. Bring Me Back, however, had a much larger cast of characters. With thrillers, you gotta have a fine balance of how many people you have on it. You gotta have a high enough cast that you have multiple suspects, but you gotta keep it low enough so we can actually remember the names, and also for there to be enough evidence to support the cast number, and even have feelings for them. Because if there's too many, we won't get to know them that much. Because you can't really handle that many people trying to introduce them to each other. Stuff like that. Did I like this one better than Behind Closed Doors, the book who hosts my 5th favorite villain of 2019? Very close, but Behind Closed Doors gave me a constant sense of I am trapped. I do not know how to escape this. This was just what is happening? And I liked it. If you just want some tangled love affairs, go ahead. It's pretty simple to read. So yeah, this was my highest book of the month. But then I had 3 more reads. The last book of this series is in the library, so I only have 2 right now in my hand. But before I tell you this, I want you to guess what the book is. Okay, editor, just like pan in close to my face, make like a gray background. Find some like crazy ambivalent music if you can. Ambiance. Turn on the ambiance. Okay, this main character's world is divided by blood. Under the heel of an evil lord, our hero must join with a band of renegades in order to topple this corrupt government who values the separation of one's blood color over the principles of what makes a decent human being. Can you guys guess what it is yet? No? I'll keep going. Enter upon a tangled love triangle, distant, unknowable characters, but at least one good character that makes you go like, I think I can tolerate this book a bit more. Have you guessed it yet? If you said Red Queen, you are almost correct. It's the Frostblood series. Basically, the poor man's Red Queen. It was even worse than Red Queen. Let me explain. 17-year-old Ruby is a fireblood who has concealed her powers of heat and flame from the cruel Frostblood ruling class her entire life. But when her mother is killed trying to protect her, this literally happened in the first chapter, so not a spoiler. And my rule of thumb is don't kill parents off in the first chapter because we just got here and I'm not attached to anyone, so I don't care if you die. So yeah, I guess that's cool. And rebel Frostbloods demand her help to overthrow their bloodthirsty king. She agrees to come out of hiding, desperate for revenge. Despite her unpredictable abilities, Ruby trains with the rebels and the infuriating yet irresistible Arcus, who seems to think of her as nothing more than a weapon. Before they take action, Ruby is captured and forced to compete in the king's tournaments that pit Fireblood prisoners against Frostblood champions. Now she has only one chance to destroy the maniacal ruler who has taken everything from her and from the icy young man she has come to love. Oh, swoon, I can't breathe. That whole part about like her being like pitted in an arena for her life, I would have like totally omitted that from the summary because that's like the only conflict in the book, so you kind of like spoiled it. In this book, it is like a very light fantasy. The world building, not that good at all. You got all these mythologies, and those were interesting if only like they were like expounded on a bit more. But it's a fantasy, so you know, you got medieval times, I guess. But this book was desperately trying to, you know, talk like the Middle Ages without like getting to the these and thous. So it's like awfully stiff dialogue, which I hated. The main characters go from like instant hate to insta love like within half the book. You know, overtraining, of course. Let me just throw the most formulaic summary ever. Young girl, not like the other girls, has a special power that has the government after her. She has to keep her powers hidden. She won't take nothing from anyone. This girl was so angry all the time. Like, can you chill? I know you're a fireblood and you know you're always like blazing hot, but can you just chill, please? Show another like part of your personality that's like more likable. I would really appreciate that. Thank you. No. Didn't happen. She meets this strapping young man who teaches her things she did not know. She goes through a montage of training. Oh, they get separated. They have some type of conflict. They're reunited. Yay. Second book, which is Fireblood, had one of my favorite tropes in it, but did it redeem it? No. Young lovers separated through the entirety of the book. Oh, but another strapping young fellow who understands our main lady protagonist a bit more comes into the picture. Is this a love triangle? Yes, indeed. The dude in this book had so much better chemistry than the dude in this book, and it was like still not good chemistry at all. Like, this was a 1, this is a 3 out of 10 in the love scale department. It was literally Red Queen, but worse. And I read the whole series. Third book wasn't good either, just because it was the end of February, and I'm like, well, I've had a bad reading month. I only had like 1 4-star book. Rest were DNFs or like 3 stars. I think I'm just like doomed to have a bad reading month, so let's just keep going. Nothing I can do. I can't fight it. Usually I can count on thrillers to give me like a good ride, but not this month. John Green books are just reusing the same character models. And while they're likable at first, when you see them over and over again, you know, there's more than one type of person, please. And literally just a bland rewash of Red Queen. Do you think I want to read Red Queen again? Diet, caffeine-free Red Queen? No. But as always, I have high hopes for the next reading month. Hello, March. How you doing? The book series I'm reading this month is The Fifth Wave, and I'm like 30 pages into it. I'm already like really liking it. I just like the girl, Casey. Let's just all call her Casey. And like, I'm not even into the fighting yet. It's just like, this is what happened to our world. First the aliens came in one wave, then the second wave, then the third wave, then the fourth. A fifth wave is upon us now. Each wave is like a certain type of attack that the aliens did to the humans. I think the first one is like an EMP. I'm not that into it yet, so I don't know really what the other 2, 3, and 4th waves are, but I'm liking it so far. So I think this is going to be a good month. I just got a fantasy and a thriller I'm going to read. But you know, TBRs aside from like the series I'm going to read, nothing's really like set. It's kind of like I have a list, but I'm also a mood reader. I told you guys I was flashed in the parking lot. Do you guys want to hear that story? Well, I'm signing off, so I'm going to tell you guys about it now before I do sign off. There I was, sitting in my usual parking spot. My car is here, there's a hedge here, and there's like 3 parking spots over there, and then there's a truck there. Never seen this truck before. I got there like 20 minutes early, so I was sitting in the car just waiting for my shift to start at like 11. And around 10:55, I was about to like get out of the car, but then the truck door opens and this lady comes out. I don't know what possesses her to do this, because literally I'm there and you could probably see me through the car windows. My cafe, which is like wall-to-wall windows, could definitely see her. She whips off the shirt and I'm just like, oh man, you're really like in the way and I really need to go to work. So she's just there like putting a shirt on, and I like slowly creak open my door and I'm like, yeah, I'm not looking, just it's kind of awkward. That was just a weird working day, and I had a call from someone in New York City. I'm in Florida, and he's like, hello, can I get 2 cinnamon rolls shipped to New York? Overnight shipping, please. Why would you want to ship a cinnamon roll overnight? It's gonna be soggy. And he just kept calling and calling. I'm like, sir, we can't do that. He's like, I'll pay for the shipping. And I was trying like pass the phone to my manager, but that's a whole nother story because she's always like running around like this. And I'm just like, can someone with authority please tell this man that we cannot ship him cinnamon rolls? Would you guys eat a cinnamon roll that's been sitting in a cardboard box, being tossed around in the mail truck, in overnight delivery, and the icing is like dripping through the box? I wouldn't. I would just go to a Cinnabon. We do have good cinnamon rolls though, so I kind of understand it, but you can get another one someone else, man. Thank you guys so much. I'm gonna go play board games with some friends, so yay. And I'm just gonna ask you guys now, comment section, what is one book that you was like, oh, this is a total ripoff of this book? Tell me about it in the comments below. Like I said, Frostblood, Red Queen, they're exactly the same, except Red Queen is better. Killed me to say it.